Welcome to Ready, Set, Rise, the ultimate podcast made for martial artists by martial artists, with your hosts, Aaron Hensley and Cameron Smith.
Hey, what's up, guys? You are in for a treat with today's interview. We're actually going to have a panel discussion on the rise of social media and the do's and don'ts when it comes to marketing yourself online. And we've got Ferris, we've got Juliana Ramos-Ortiz, and we've got Kenna Pugh, all bringing their insight and knowledge from paid advertising to organic social media content to branding and personal branding, collaboration, influencer style marketing, all of it. So make sure you get your notes ready and let's dive into today's episode. All right, guys. Hey, you are in for a treat today. We've got three special guests with us today. And instead of me trying to go through and brag on every single one of these people that we have on today, I'm going to actually let them do that themselves. So Rusty, we're going to kick it off with you, man, and then we'll just kind of go around, but let's give everybody an opportunity. Just introduce yourself to our audience here. Tell them who you are, what you do, and let's get ready to add some value to people. So Rusty, go ahead and kick it off for us, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I just want to say, thanks again for having me. I'm excited for this conversation. My name is Rusty Ferris. I run Limelight Digital Solutions, and I've been doing this since 2017, and so it feels like quite a while now. But we help specifically gyms and martial arts schools get more members.
Yeah.
We try to help them get 15 to 30 more members per month through digital marketing. And so we do that with mostly paid advertising. We're starting to incorporate some AI, like AI follow-up, different automations and things like that. But it's our main thing, just trying to help you guys get as many extra sales opportunities as possible and help you out with the follow-up of the leads too, because that's also a big portion.
I love it, man. Thanks for being here. I'm excited for today's conversation. Yeah. All right, Juliana, go ahead.
Hey guys, some of you guys may know me as karate.jules. I've been in the social media industry since 2017 as well. I've built my personal brand, Karate Jewels, across all social media platforms, which has opened up a lot of doors for me and learning how to capitalize that personal brand building in each one of those different career fields and industries that I've gone into. And the most exciting, most recent one is the film industry. But I believe the reason why I have been so successful was because of everything that I learned in the martial arts business industry, along with personal brand building, putting those two together and learning the adaptability in each and every career field or industry that you decide to go into.
Love it. I love it. All right, here we go. Mrs. Soon to be.
Yes. Hello, my name is Kenna Pugh as of right now. I am the owner of Social Collective. We primarily work with gyms, martial arts studios, and personal trainers and some individuals as well. We mostly do organic, I would say. That's like our strong suit is the community building of everything. There is something to be said for paid ads and lead generation, which some of the services do cover that. But from a personal, lifelong martial artist, I grew up in the martial arts world, and I kind of took that expertise of being able to know what a student would want from an instructor or as an instructor myself, and translate that into marketing. And I think that's a super unique point of view to come from, and being able to help others be able to communicate that clearly for people that need martial arts in their life.
Definitely. And guys, like I said, you guys are in for a treat today, having these three special guests coming together and bringing their knowledge and their expertise in their areas to be able to add value to you guys. But one thing I always say is, the knowledge does no good for you unless you actually execute on it. So if you're listening to this, make sure you're not just taking good notes just to take good notes, but actually execute on the information that you're going to be given today. Because honestly, social media and marketing yourself on social media and building a brand there, like that's going to be the key to your success, at least in my opinion, going into 2025. Everybody's got a phone in their hand. Everyone's got Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Like social media is king. So the better you can establish a strong online presence there, man, like the opportunities for you are going to be endless. So one of the things I like to coach on when it comes to marketing is being able to attract attention, being able to keep that attention. So obviously engage it. And there's different ways you can do that, whether through entertaining your audience or educating your audience, basically adding value to them. But then from there, being able to convert it, which for martial arts schools obviously means getting a new member, right? Or referral or whatever you count as your conversion rate. But that's the idea is I'm trying to capture someone's attention. I'm trying to keep it long enough, keep them engaged to then want to convert them into becoming a student into our school. And the way you do that, or sorry, the better job you do at that, the more success you're going to be able to have. That's what I meant to say. Okay. So we're going to basically ask a couple questions here to our panelists, and we're going to let them give their insights on each of these topics and these tools and these strategies that you guys can implement into your own marketing strategy, which I hope you have for 2025. If you don't have a marketing strategy in place, we are doing something wrong. So make sure that you guys are doing that. I'm going to go ahead and put in a shameless plug right now. If you need help, marketing or not marketing, but planning out your 2025 year, we do have a resource available for you guys. Go to riseusa.com/planner. You can download a 2025 planner where you can plan out your sales goals, your revenue targets, your new student targets. You can map out your marketing plan, all of your events for the year. We've created that as a free resource for you guys. So go to riseusa.com/planner, and you guys can get that download there. So let's get ready to hop into it. Obviously, we're talking about martial arts schools here and how they can market themselves and brand themselves online and be able to use that to get more students. But let's start with what goes wrong in that first, right? So what are some of the most common mistakes that you guys have noticed through either just observing and watching other schools on social media? Maybe it's mistakes you've made yourself doing this, or mistakes that you've seen some of the people that you've worked with, you've seen them make. What are some of the most common mistakes that you guys see from martial arts businesses when it comes to marketing themselves on social media? And then also, how can they avoid making those mistakes? So Rusty, let's start with you.
Yeah, I would say on the organic side, if I'm auditing somebody's profile, I click on it.
Yeah.
It looks like they're not even open anymore because they haven't posted in like a year. Like you'll click on pictures and it says like 2022. And I'm like, you haven't posted a picture since 2022. It's crazy. And so when you run ads, you want to do post ideally daily,
Yeah.
at least a few times a week. I mean, they're probably going to know more than me on this part. But as far as like organically, when you're running ads, there's going to be a portion of people who don't opt in right away. They actually click onto your page and check you out first.
Yeah.
And so that part's huge because if they don't see any like life going on, it's like, they're like, this is kind of weird. Like, I can't really figure out what's going on. Are they even open anymore? Like,
Yeah. One thing I want to add to that too is I was literally just talking about this with somebody the other day is, for me personally, when I go to look at a business that I want to go to or support or whatever, even if it's a restaurant, for me, I don't even go to their website first. I go to their social media. And if it looks like it's not up to date, consistent, or if I can't even tell what the environment is going to be like when I get there, I opt out even going there because I can't tell. I want to know what I'm getting into before I get there, right? I don't want to be surprised, shocked, especially in a negative way. So the fact that you made that point, like literally that's how me as a consumer, that's exactly how I am.
Yeah. Yeah. So, organically, I can speak to just not having enough posts in general.
Yeah.
And then not having enough reviews in general, because they're going to check out your reviews. This is going to help your ads work better. This all goes together,
Yeah.
And then on like the paid ads side, what I see is there's no urgency. Like there's no scarcity, there's no urgency. They just kind of put a few bullet points, a few benefits, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, opt in, like get this deal. But you got to think you're trying to, like you were saying earlier, you're trying to capture their attention, right? You have to give them a reason to opt in now instead of thinking about it and doing it later, which they're not going to do it later. They're scrolling through Facebook and they're going to forget 1 minute later. So it's like, okay, hey, we only have 15 spots available, some type of,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
A short amount of time,
example of
a
what
limited number of spots. Yeah, like it could be easy, like, limited time offer, 15 spots available until the end of the month. Things like that to where, okay, I need to go ahead and take advantage of this now.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about it and doing it later. Yeah, I would say that's two major things I see when I kind of audit people's profiles like that.
I love it. Juliana, same question.
Yeah, so for me, I think the biggest whether this is for your business or you're just a martial artist or just somebody that's getting on social media, the biggest thing I see is that profiles are either trying to be too professional. And so they're waiting, and there's so much time and such a big gap in between their product than what they're putting out. That also takes away from its relatability. It's not visceral. It's not something I connect to. It's so professional. It feels too perfect. Like it's not something I can relate to or reach or be a part of. It's almost like that Mean Girls Club. You can never achieve it. And so then there's the polar opposite of that same spectrum where it's just too amateur. Like there's no good lighting. We didn't even, check to make sure that our camera was wiped. So it's like a blurry photo. You could tell their hand, like their fingerprint is still on the camera, or the video starts and it's like shaking. They're still fixing the phone and then it starts. All of
They've
those
got
things.
they've got it on selfie mode first, and then they're turning it
And then they're
around.
switching it over. So, one or the other. The more two there's not enough effort, that is going to lose people. You only get one first impression. So if I'm going to get my first impression from your social media, because I'm not even checking your website, I'm going to your social media, I don't have a good first impression. I don't think you're professional enough to earn my money. Next, you're either posting too much on the professional side. It doesn't relate to me. I don't feel like I can come to you. Or you're not posting enough, just like Rusty said. And so the rule of seven. Oh, here we go, AI. Yeah, exactly. The principle of seven, the rule of seven. They have to see you at least 7 times before they buy into your product. And if we have listened to anything that Rise teaches us, is that everything is marketing, everything is sales. I am selling myself to you right now, whether you decide you like me or not, whether you're going to take my advice or not, whether you're going to check out and make sure that it's true that I have, experience in social media. This is all an interaction that is going to end in, it may not be a money sale, but some sort of sale. And so you have to be posting enough that people are seeing you at least 7 times so that they can, that one ad that does come up that says 15 spots left, they say, man, I've seen them on my page at least 7 times. This time I'm not going to scroll away. I'm going to take action. And that is a really big one. So not too amateur. Do your research, just basic research. Use your common sense, human psychology. Is it clear? Is it good enough quality? Is it relatable? Great. Is it too professional that it's, too perfect? Then don't go that route either. Find the happy medium, be relatable.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add to that, and then Ken, I'm going to kick it off to you as well, is, you kind of talked about the, too amateur almost or too professional. I think there's a point to where sometimes when you look at a page can be too, I would almost say like, instead of professional, almost corporate looking, right? Like when they just have the same old stock photos and everything, and it just looks like every other place. Like you said, like it's not relatable. Like I can't see myself, I can't envision myself or my child training there. So when you give that kind of impression, you kind of almost block yourself off from the customer that way.
Absolutely.
100%. I think that I almost view that vibe of like too clean, too professional. I almost refer to it as like you're like a medical social media feed where it looks just very like there's no germs whatsoever, and some of those germs can be a little relatable, but sometimes it's a little bit too clean. I think from personal experience, either working with clients and looking and auditing their organic social media, or even just doing market research so I can be on top of what's going on with other studios or just in the industry, period. I think that people nowadays on social media have gotten so good at seeing through what people are posting. So like the intent behind it. I think that there are a lot of studios, unfortunately, that might not realize that they might just be posting with the intent of reaching a certain revenue goal. I think revenue, obviously important, keeps everything running, keeps the lights on. But I think that having that almost front and center and people can kind of see through that can be a little bit detrimental. Yes, it's important. So I think that being able to balance having that yin and yang of different content pillars, having that promotional thing, because it is important to promote things. If people don't know what you're selling, it's not good. So you have those promotional things, but then you also have that community building content pillars where once a week you post a community post, whether it's highlighting a student or highlighting something that's going on in the local community. And then you have that like entertainment pillar. You have something that gets people to know you a little bit more. It could be for your students, your culture inside of your studios, or just as a person individually. And then besides that, you can kind of bounce between those content pillars, but not just sticking to those posts that really people can tell that you're going, just pushing that revenue. I think people can see through that so quickly, and people can know your intent behind what you're posting. Nowadays, the people buy from people. And so if you're posting things that are kind of robotic or very stock, it can really shine through, and it might shoot yourself in the foot in the long run.
Definitely. And, I like what you just said there is, people buy from people, right? So being able to be relatable, just like you guys talked about, being authentic. And I think that's, the key difference maker for a lot of studios that they don't realize is, if I go to one martial arts school and then I go to another, then I go to another, and I go to another, let's say they weren't even different schools. Let's say they're all under the same brand, right? They're still going to have their own unique culture and feel and personality to them. Because remember, martial arts is a relationship-based business, right? There's still a person that's teaching on the floor, right? There's still a person that's doing your intro lessons and getting you signed up into your program and all of that. So still having that authentic, relatable feel, not that we're just like, kind of buttoned up corporate the whole time. Like, hey, we're actually people that are going to work alongside you and your child and help you along your journey. Like, that's key, right? And one thing that I want to add to this is, understanding who your audience is when you are marketing online for social media. One of the mistakes that I've seen is I'll see a martial arts school that's posting information that should be meant more so for their current students, right? And they're posting that on their public page to everybody else, right? And a lot of people don't think that that's a problem, but if you think about it, if you're posting about, hey, everybody sign up for belt testing coming up, and you're posting all of that on your public page, which I've seen schools do, but your public page is supposed to be your calling card to your new students, right? You're kind of mixing and intermingling there in a place where you probably shouldn't. Like, there should be information that should be just for your students, but then there's information that you want the general public to see. And sometimes that will be the same information, but maybe even with a different tone. So using kind of like what Kenna just talked about with taking a student, highlighting that post on social media, like that's great. Right. And we tell people have like a private student group just for their members, where it's just information for them, and then a public group that's more for their audience. But you could take that same picture of highlighting a student, you post it in your group. Hey, congratulations to Johnny on being student of the month. Hey, let's talk about where he started to where he is now and the progress that he's made over that time. That's still a form of marketing. It's internal, it's to your members, but you're reselling the value and the benefits back to your people of why they started in the first place, because I guarantee you over time, people forget why they started that journey in the first place. We've got to remind them of that. But then you can take that same picture, post it online, post it on your public page, maybe not with as much detail, but still highlighting that kid, because guess what's going to happen there? That parent's going to share it, right? And then you get more organic traffic that way as well, right? What parent doesn't want to brag on their kid? So you post about that kid online on your public page, they go share that. Now you've got a little bit more reach that way. You do that over and over again, you continue to gain that over time, right? So let me ask you guys this. We talked about the mistakes that people make. Sometimes these mistakes are obviously unintentional, but sometimes it comes down to the resources that they have available at their fingertips as well, right? So when we talk about a studio that has a limited budget, or maybe they have a limited team, like, what would you guys say is the most effective strategy for them to be able to grow their social media presence online and be able to attract those new students? So, I'm low on money. I don't have a huge marketing budget, right? Or maybe I'm a single owner operator. I'm wearing all the hats. I'm the janitor, the instructor, the salesperson, the marketer. I'm everything, right? Like, what do those people do when you're limited on resources and budget and on people? Like, how do you still grow your online presence that way? Rusty?
Yeah, well, the nice thing about, if you're on a budget, you can pull out your iPhone, you have like an amazing camera right here. So, some people think, oh, I got to hire this videographer for $5,000, put together these amazing videos. Like we just spoke earlier, sometimes the highly produced stuff doesn't work as well as organic stuff because it looks too much like a commercial. It's like too clean, you know. And so the nice thing is you probably have a smartphone, so there's your camera. You know what I mean?
Let me add
Yeah,
on
paid
to that.
ads.
If it's
Yeah, go
not an
ahead.
iPhone, it's not a smartphone, it's a dumb phone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna get in that debate. I do have an iPhone though, but 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 yeah, and then paid ads is a little tough. Like if you're on a shoestring budget, if you could squeeze out three, like okay, if I was gonna run ads, but I only had $5 a day, I would do all retargeting ads. And so I would tell that person, put a Facebook pixel on your website and put $5 a day on Facebook. Tell Facebook to retarget people who looked at your website and who engaged with your Facebook page. You can do this. You can tell Facebook, I want to retarget people who have interacted with my page. I want to target people who have interacted with my Instagram profile. And I want to target people who checked out my website. And so you can put $5 a day, even $3 a day, if you're really trying to be on a budget. That's enough to get you started and get a trickle of leads in, because it's people that you're kind of catching that checked you out, but they weren't quite ready to make a decision yet. So that's one thing. The other thing you can do is there's local influencers in cities. And so like, I'll give you an example. I'm in Tampa. I was scrolling through Instagram and this girl, she's like a foodie person that goes to different restaurants. And I'm sure they pay her to do this, or give her free food or something. And she was at a pizza place nearby and she was like, do you like crab rangoon? And I'm like, I like crab rangoon. And this isn't an ad. This is just an organic video. But she's like a local influencer. I'm like, yeah, I like crab rangoon. And they made this crab rangoon pizza at this local pizza shop. And I was like, that's incredible. I called and asked for the pizza. Like it worked on me. So I know it works on people. But yeah, you can find local influencers, maybe trade them a month of self-defense classes for them to be like, hey, showcase my business for a few reels, you know. That's something I would do. You could do a contest, like, share, comment contest, stuff like that, different types of giveaways that can kind of get you out there. But yeah, that's some shoestring budget ideas for you for sure.
Man, I love that you talked about the influencer idea there because literally it's weird. I was just having this conversation last night. We went to dinner with some friends and I don't know, what everybody's music choice is here, but there's this guy, if you've ever heard of him, he lives in Atlanta. His name's Lecrae. So, #1 Christian rapper in the world. And it was funny. We saw that at one of our studios, he actually started training there. And the person who signed him up didn't realize who he was. So I called her and I was like, hey, do you realize what you just did? She's like, no, who is he? He said he was a real estate investor.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He said he was a real estate investor. I'm like, no, he's like the #1 Christian rapper in the world. That's who he is.
Almost a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was our mistake is that could have been a huge opportunity. But what I love about that is he was so excited about his training that he even posted pictures of himself in uniform at the school. Guess what that does
That's
for
huge.
the brand? Dude, it took it to the next level, right? And just to your same point there, it doesn't have to be of somebody that scale. It can be even local influencers in your area. How can you find ways to be able to connect and partner with them in a way that could cost you zero? Maybe it's just them coming to a couple of extra classes for a month or so, but now they go put you in front of their audience. Now you're able to expand your reach that way. So I just wanted to say that because I love that you touched on that there because I think that's a massively missed opportunity right now when it comes to that form and that style of marketing. I love it. Juliana, what you want to add to it?
So can you say the question again, just so that we're back on
Yeah, definitely.
track?
So, for martial arts school owners that have a limited budget or they have a limited team, so they don't have as much resource and they don't have as much manpower, how can they, what are the most effective strategies for them to be able to grow their online presence and their social media presence?
Definitely. So it's not just a money thing, but invest in it. We've been in this digital pivot since 2020. Overnight, we had no choice but to adapt. And Kevin Leary, if you know him from Shark Tank, he's older, but he says it himself. He's like, I don't care how old you are, get with it. And if you're not gonna get with it, find a 20-year-old that's covered in tattoos and fish hooks that is with it. And we had no choice. Overnight, I don't care how old you were, you had to order your groceries or you weren't getting fed during COVID. So we have been in this. If you at one point said, "Oh, I'm never doing TikTok," it's time to adapt. It's time to recant that and go through with it. Invest in the educational part of it. Take your time. Just do a few small scrolls a day. Set a timer on your phone. 10 minutes. Today, 10 minutes at the end of the day before I leave the karate school, I'm going to sit in my chair, just cool down, maybe sit in a stretch, and I'm going to research 5 ways to market on Instagram, or just go on YouTube and put latest algorithm for social media, just anything. 5 business hacks for marketing on social media, and it'll keep you up to date. People are constantly researching this, and now Meta themselves has workshops to teach you what it is that they are looking for. We're looking for people that are posting 3 to 5 times a day. We're no longer pushing reels as much as we are pushing carousels. All this information is out there, but I understand that you don't know what you don't know. You need to know what questions to ask. So just put in the general term on any of these. You can put it in on Instagram, you can put it on TikTok, you can put it on YouTube, you can put it on Chat GPT, and it will tell you what to ask. Research, invest in the educational part of it. If you can't pay somebody else to do it, take 5-10 minutes a day and do it yourself. Set timers and make it happen. And usually while you're watching these videos, you're like, oh, that's not even that hard. And then you get inspired and then you start working on a draft, and then you can leave it ready and set for the next morning. Set a timer for whatever time it is that it says you should be posting, and throw it up. The next thing that I'm going to say that I think is really valuable, I actually learned this from Aaron years ago, was over at his karate school. He had a program called Sidekicks, and it was the moms at the karate school. They were thrilled to be helping and hosting these events and community stuff and just being involved in the karate school and just all these things that they were excited to be delegated to. Find a mom that is really excited at your school, and I implore you, just open up the conversation. Is anybody here, like, just ask at the end of class, is anybody in this class or your leadership team really interested in social media? I'm going to be asking for some help if anybody wants to. Just delegate, pull in your team, lean on your community. Somebody out there has the information or has the time to put in the information. And if they love you as much as they should, I mean, you are giving invaluable, life-changing information and experiences to their child. They will want to help you with that. They'll go out and research it and start posting for you. And so just lean on your community. That is something that I have also had to do, and it has made my life so much easier.
I love that. I love that. I mean, honestly, like, there's no excuses. Like, with everything you just said and all the information you just gave there, like, there's so many little tactical things in there where literally for anybody, like, there's no excuse as to why you can't invest at least the time and education of learning how to use the tool called social media. And to your other point too, like, we've been in this age for how long now? Like, what are you still waiting for? All right. Why are you delaying it? Because the longer you push it off, the less success you're going to have. Like, you're missing opportunity because you're not willing to invest in what's plain right in front of you. Right. So I love that. Love it. Kenna, come on, add to it. Same thing. Limited budget, limited team. What do I do to increase my presence on social media?
Yes, sir. Amazing points, guys. It's getting me fired up. I love this. I think one of the biggest things is almost tying in what you guys are saying is I think people, whenever they think of budget or I don't have enough people, I don't have enough money, that is a limiting belief. I think that initially you need to get rid of that mindset, because you will cut yourself off from these out of the box ideas before you even get the opportunity to give yourself a chance to be successful. Your success is dependent on your willpower. So being able to get rid of that limiting belief at the start will do yourself a ton of good. I think one of the tactics for being able to be successful is it's free, completely free. You can do something called community engagement. I remember being a coach, and I was in charge of social media tasks, and I was also building my business on the side. I was full-time. I was a full-time coach, but I was also building Social Collective. And I remember on my success routine, I was like in charge of reaching out to this many people per day. And I was like, okay, I'm going to DM 20 people, whether they are existing members or they are potential members that could be a part of your martial arts school in the future. It's completely dependent on how much time you're wanting to put into it, because I think a lot of people think like, oh, I don't have this money, I can't do that. But this is like, you can treat it as like a campaign. Like, I'm going to do 20 minutes a day reaching out to these people, commenting on these people's posts. Make sure you're talking to the right person, because you can't just reach out to anybody and everybody. You have to get your avatar, so to speak. Like, okay, I'm going to talk to this specific mom that's in this specific area that's interested in these things with children in this age group. Do your research, because it'll help you a lot later on. Have this cookie cutter avatar and reach out to those people. Community engagement. I think that I've ran really successful marketing campaigns for a martial arts tournament, which is event marketing is a little bit different than martial arts school marketing, but it's still similar tactics that can really be used for success. One of the big things is this tournament did not have the budget to do any paid marketing at all. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to really, really devote my time every single day to reach out to these competitors that have either already been to the event or are my cookie cutter avatar to come to the event, reach out to their parents as well. And one of the big things was like almost that influencer marketing, reaching out to those competitors. If they believe in your product and you're giving them something good, whether it's a tournament or your services at a martial arts school, it's free. They'll be like, I will be happy to talk about you because you've done so much for me. I'm happy for it. It's really simple if they believe in what you're doing. I reached out to a lot of these people and they were happy to give me videos. We almost did a marketing campaign based off of primarily videos from competitors and parents and coaches that are just talking so highly about the event. And ultimately, I think that it drove like hundreds of extra competitors to the event, and it's now a NASCAR 5A. Like, it's like, I won't take all the credit for that, but it did a ton of help. I think another one of the big things would be to, if you're really wanting, one of the books I'm reading right now, which I've already read this, but it's like just something that I think being able to be reminded of it is just big. Atomic Habits. What you want for your future is going to compound over time. So make sure you're putting daily things into your schedule. Okay, so it's like you don't have to do crazy things like content creation every single day, but reaching out to like 10 people, liking 10 people's posts won't cost you an arm and a leg. So might as well do it. Same thing about with that willpower. If you're willing to do it, put some time into it, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, because it does make a difference later on.
I love that. And one thing I want to add to that is, you kind of touched on it there too, is just scheduling it out, right? Like make it something that's important to you, right? If you know you need to market on social media, it's important to get yourself out there, then just make the time to do it, right? Stop making excuses for it. Like put the time in your calendar, discipline yourself, right? What do martial artists teach all the time? Discipline, right? But are you actually living it in your own business as well, right? Like, are you actually demonstrating that? Back to Juliana's point as well about investing in the education side of it, right? Like, I would almost say, like, be a white belt again, right? If you don't understand marketing at the level of, this person, that person, or whatever, that's fine. You don't have to be at their level yet. You're going to actually learn more by just trial and error, doing it, seeing what works, getting the experience. Like one of the things for me recently is I've started doing like little video edits and stuff like that. Like obviously working on podcasts like this, but then, just a couple other little videos and website stuff. Like this is stuff that I know nothing about, but in the last 2 months, I feel like I've had a lot of growth in it, honestly, because I've just been doing it. I've made mistakes. Some things worked out great. Some things didn't work out as great, but because I did it, now I understand it. I get better. I look at examples. Okay, how are they doing it? Great. I'm going to mimic that and I'm going to try it. Oh, it worked. Cool. We're going to keep that. We're going to do it again and again and again. Juliana, go ahead.
I want to point out that exact thing
Yeah.
that you just said. I looked at what other people were doing and
Mhm.
I said, oh, wow, look, this is working. Oh, this didn't work for me, but this is what I learned how I could pivot. And I study your competitors. What
Yeah.
are they doing? Why are they successful? Study other businesses and adapt that to your business. How
Yeah.
are they running their ads? Oh, I like that call to action. I'm gonna copy paste that caption and then just reword it in your notes. Like it's not even that hard. Steal like an artist. Pull inspiration from any and everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, that was really valuable, Cam. I just scroll through my Explorer every once in a while and I'll get super fired up at
Oh yeah.
midnight. Like, oh, I gotta go make
Yes.
this content. I'm stoked. And then I'm like, oh, hold on, chill out. It's
Yeah.
midnight.
I can't tell
I
you how
think
many.
a lot.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think a lot of people try and think that, oh, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, or they think that they need to reinvent the wheel, and then they ultimately think like, oh, I don't want to look at other people because that's copying them. If it's working, it's successful for a reason. You can make it your own. It's somewhat they've probably already taken the idea from someone else.
Yeah.
It's ultimately you need to put your own spin on it and make it something new, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. So, with both of you being really involved in the social media game specifically, especially creating content, engaging with audiences and everything as well, what are some trends? Kind of talking about the same thing, like you go on your Explore page, you start scrolling through and you see what other people are doing. I can't tell you how many like reels I have saved on my Instagram of just, oh man, I'm scrolling through reels at night. Like that's when I always do it. I'm at night, getting ready to go to bed. All right, let me scroll through a couple reels. I see that. Oh, I'm saving that. I want to keep that. Like, what are some of the trends that you guys have seen in social media specifically, not just online marketing, but social media specifically? What are some trends that you've seen recently that, martial arts business owners should pay attention to going into 2025? Now, before you answer, Rusty, I'm going to come to you with the same question, but I want to focus more on actual paid advertising with you. Right. So for my ladies here, like social media content, and then I'm going to kick it to Rusty, and I want to hear a little bit more about like paid advertising, some of the trends that you see work. Okay, so I'm actually going to go reverse. Kenna, I'm going to start with you, and then we're going to go to Juliana, and then we're going to go to Rusty.
Sounds good. Kind of tying back to what we were saying, one of the big things, there's nothing against the super big influencers that have like hundreds of thousands of followers or even
Yeah.
millions of followers, Juliana. But I think that one of the big things is like yes, they've gotten to where they are because they've done the work, they've done all the things, they are getting these brand deals or even sponsorships on a certain level. But then I've noticed a trend in the micro influencing, not only the like UGC but micro influencers because yes, it works, but hear me out. A bigger influencer says something, hey, buy this, I believe in this, I use this every day, they're more likely to be paid a higher price to be able to talk about that product or thing. It works to get people to be like, oh, I want to be like this person, or I want to buy the things that they're buying or having the
Yeah.
things that they have or the experiences that they're going to. But there's something to be said for more relatable people that have micro influencers who have like 1,000 followers or even under 20K that would be more likely to respond to your DMs, reply to your comments. They're a little bit more, I think, in the eyes of other consumers, are a little bit more like obtainable, so to speak. They don't have that like celebrity status. I think a lot of people are putting influencers on a celebrity pedestal nowadays. And so that micro influencing can really benefit a martial arts school. So, for example, I remember reaching out to parents and being like, hey, can I noticed that you have this many followers on Instagram? Would you be able to talk about the school? Can you just send in a video of your student talking about it and tell your friends about it? I think that's why referral programs are so popular. Being able to hear from other people that are like you or you resonate with, I
Yeah.
think is really important. There was a this is an interesting story, but there's a British sauce. Okay, I know this is like a little bit of a like a it sounds irrelevant, but I promise I'll tie it together. There's a British sauce called HP sauce, and in Britain it's like referred to as like brown sauce. And there's a marketing company, or their marketing team was like, we need to become more relevant. We need to be known for something. We need to not just be associated with certain events or certain occasions.
Yeah.
And so they were looking at really popular things that were going on in Britain, which martial arts schools could do this. Look at other things that are going on within your community. Each community is different. Just pay attention to what's going on in your community. They were looking at what's going on in Britain. The Masters event was coming up. I think that they were doing some type of pool, or it was like a pool tournament, and they had like some other events a part of it. There was a guy named Jimmy White. He's infamous, not infamous. He's more of just a famous player, and a lot of people in Britain knew about him. And the marketing team, like last minute, was like, okay, here's this Jimmy guy. We're going to ask him to legally change his name to Brown for the event. So he's Jimmy Brown. And the guy was like, I'm down, let's do it. So anytime that Jimmy Brown came up to do his plays, they were talking about like, hey, he legally changed his name for HP sauce. And then after that event, the sales for HP sauce skyrocketed. So for martial arts schools, how this is relevant is being able to find your Jimmy White, almost, not asking anybody to legally change their name, of course.
I thought that's where you're headed with it. I'm like, come on, change your name.
Yeah. But finding your Jimmy Whites within your community and trying to leverage certain events, or even trying to find your master's event within your respective martial arts community. So I think that's a good lesson to learn.
Yeah.
I heard that story not too long ago, and I was like, that could really be a good lesson.
Yeah.
But as far as trends, I'm thinking a really big rise in micro-influencing.
Yeah. And, you know, another thing that I kind of hear in that too is just collaboration in general, right? Like, like that kind of encompasses it, but like collaborate, right? Like I'm seeing a lot of social media posts now, especially on Instagram, where all these different companies and brands, they collaborate the posts together. So it's in front of this audience, this audience, this audience, this audience. So when you guys find those micro influencers that you're going to partner with and work with, man, is there a way where you can collaborate on your posts? And it's very easy to do. If you don't know how to do it, obviously, like YouTube University it, and you'll figure it out. But can you collaborate a post with them? So now it's showing on your feed and it's showing on theirs at the same time. So you're getting to both audiences. I love that. Juliana, what are some of the trends that you've seen in social media?
So I want to double down on what Miss Kenna mentioned about, your micro influencers, and definitely leveraging not only your audience, but also the audience of those around you. The next big thing that she mentioned UGC. For those that don't know, UGC stands for user generated content. So it's that review where a mom goes on selfie mode and says, oh my goodness, my kids just graduated and we had such a fantastic time. I've seen my Johnny and Amy grow so much. And that user generated content is so valuable because it feels very relatable. Again, what we love and what really connects and gets us a good RO ads, our return on ads, is that visceral storytelling that, oh, that's for me. I believe in that. I know what a mom's pride feels like, and I'm chasing that. I know what, when I'm looking for a personal trainer, I'm not looking at necessarily what the personal trainer looks like alone. I'm looking at the before and after pictures that they have posted of all these people that sent them in their check-ins, like, oh man, he did that with her, and he did that with her, and he did that with him, and he did that with that kid. Like, those people's pictures are what convince me that personal trainer is actually capable, because sometimes it's genetics, or sometimes, it can be false. But when you have that user-generated content, it really helps to tell that story. Another thing that I want to say, not to talk too much about what Kenna already told you guys about, but trends are a really big trend on social media. Get with them. Spend 5 minutes a day on top of your 10 minutes of researching how the algorithm works or what you can do for ads, and spend 5 minutes just doing a little scroll, but don't just scroll aimlessly. Scroll with a purpose and start to observe and take in the information that is being given to you. What sounds am I hearing over and over again? What types of reels, what aesthetic keeps coming up? Is it really well lit? Is it iPhone quality? Is it really nice camera quality? All these things. Now, trends come up often, and I'm seeing more and more big companies get in on it because people don't want to, again, we are a people industry. We are a relationship industry. They want to know what your personality is like before they get there. You know, I want to know if that guy's kind of silly outside of that exterior, tough black belt instructor feel. So all of these big companies have had like these TikTok videos of like the CEO walking around like doing these lip sync reels or TikToks or just like being silly. I mean, you see, funny personality driven content is going to drive them to you. Why? Let's say it all together. It's relatable.
Relatable.
Right. So make people relate to you. Yes, you are a business. Yes, you are professional. Yes, you have a great first impression. And I feel like I'm coming to a business that I want and trust with my money. But I also want to know that you've got good intentions. You're good people. I'm going to enjoy my time there. My kids are going to have good role models with real personalities. And you're not just some cookie cutter black belt and they're going to turn into like these thumbs from Spy Kids. So follow the trends. Watch what comes up on the For You page. Scroll through your reels and start to take note of what the trends are and become a part of them. Take advantage of them. Once you see them the next day, have one of your teens hop on it. Hey, delegate it to them. Hey, my assistant instructor in class, you're going to take a video of this and then we're going to make a funny reel after based off of this sound that I found. Save it, do it later.
I love it. I love it. A couple things I want to add to that, and you kind of touched on this, is, using social media, like scrolling through, not just aimlessly just to consume it to entertain, but do it to learn, right? To educate yourself. I think you can either use social media or you can be used by social media, right? So I'd rather use the social media to my advantage as a tool versus just using it as a consumer and taking in the content that other people are benefiting from, right? But then back to the user-generated content as well, and this is going to help me transition into Rusty here, but I've seen actually more recently, I've seen a lot of ads, paid ads on social media that are user-generated content. It's a martial arts school, or it's a gym, or it's a personal trainer, like you said, and it's one of their clients doing a selfie video saying, man, I just did 12 weeks with so-and-so personal trainer. Let me tell you how they changed my life. And the ad from the personal trainer is one of their clients doing a selfie talking about their experience, right? So instead of us as a brand talking about ourselves, because people expect that, of course you're going to talk good about you. Get the people that are actually benefiting from what you're doing to talk good about you. And then maybe you use that content as your paid ad to be able to reach more people. But now it's someone more relatable speaking to your audience versus you speaking to them. So with that, Rusty, what are some of the trends that you've seen through paid advertising on social media?
Yeah, I think the UGC stuff is going to continue to keep going.
Yeah.
It's like we keep saying, relatable. And you might have a mom or somebody who's a natural at it, doing the selfie style videos. You can also go to Fiverr.com. If you haven't tried that before, you can go to Fiverr, type in UGC creators. There's a ton of them. You can find somebody, and then you can use that for your organic and use it for ads. Just like you were saying, you see those ads going around. Yeah, those work great for ads. Two things. So going into 2025, don't be afraid to try other platforms like TikTok ads. TikTok ads, you can now target zip codes. It used to be you had to target the entire city. So like it wasn't very good for local businesses, because if somebody's in New York City, you can't just target like Brooklyn. You'd be targeting all of New York City. It wouldn't work very well. But now you can do zip codes. Works great. It's really big with e-com, but it's not really big with local brick and mortar businesses yet. And so I just launched a TikTok campaign a couple days ago. It's getting like $10 leads. It's doing great. And so don't be afraid to try that. I have some people that say, oh no, it's just kids on there. No, there's tons of adults, because you can, just like Facebook, I can say, 30 to 50-year-olds, and there's like 50,000 people, and they might not even be on Facebook. So you might reach new people going onto a platform. I think TikTok ads are going to continue to get bigger. So don't be afraid to try other platforms, especially maybe Facebook's, every market's different. So maybe Facebook's a little slow. let's try something else. We're already doing TikTok ads as well. And so in some markets, it's working great. The other thing is everybody's attention span is getting shorter and shorter. And so in 2025, it's going to keep getting shorter. So the person who follows up the fastest is going to win. And so you almost have to have some type of automation, at least for that initial outreach. If you don't, I swear 15 minutes later, just like earlier, we were talking about your issue with your dog. Your dog's fine. Nobody knows what we're talking about right now, but like just for an example, somebody opts in, becomes a lead. 15 minutes later, they get in a fight with their spouse or their dog pees on the carpet. They've already forgot about it. They're not even worried about it anymore. And so that, a few years ago, they would say you have to follow up within 30 minutes. And now they say you have to follow up within 5 minutes. So it's like literally the fastest you can follow up, the better.
Yeah.
Because they just opted in. They're still interested. Get to them as quickly as possible. Don't think it's weird. I'm talking, you get email notification, click the call button. Don't think it's weird because they're on their phone already. They're looking at it. And so just quickly get in that conversation. I'd say that would be two big things in 2025. Really fast follow-up, which you can utilize automations, and then trying out different platforms, like TikTok and things like that.
I love that. And, kind of going back to the follow-up thing is there's ways for you to automate it. So that way they are getting those immediate touch points, right? And one of the things we had with our team is, during our working hours, obviously you're already like every lead that we got online, we got it sent straight to our emails. Obviously everybody has their email on their phone now, so you get the notification immediately. But like with our salespeople, one of the rules that we had in place is as soon as you see that lead hit your inbox within 5 minutes, you better be picking up the phone and calling. Right. And most people think, oh, that's too pushy. That's too aggressive. You'd be surprised how many people, when we pick up the phone within 5 minutes and we call them, they're shocked at first. And they're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting anyone to call me that fast. They're actually impressed that we called them that quickly. And it also shows that, hey, we're in a hurry to serve you. Right. Like it's not about the money. Like, remember, when it comes to a martial arts school, people are coming to you for a specific reason. They're coming to have a problem solved. It's not because they want their kid to turn into the next Ninja Turtle, right? It's because they want discipline or focus or respect, or they want community, right? Or they want their kid to have confidence. Like, there's real reasons why behind these people would take the time to see your ad online, click a button saying they want more information, filling in all of those fields there, and then still clicking submit. And then if they do research on you on top of that and they go and look at your social media, nobody's going to spend that much time to send you their information if they weren't interested. So when you call them as soon as possible and let them know, hey, saw you were interested online, I wanted to call, make sure you got all the information you needed to make this the best experience for you guys. How old is your child, boy or girl, right? You're right into asking questions and fact finding. So that way we can make sure we service them right. So with that being said, for everybody that's listening to this as well, as you've heard a lot of great points here, a lot of tangible things here too. I'm taking notes actually right here on the side of some things that we're going to start improving on and doing better with our own paid advertising, with our own social media. But man, all this does you no good unless you take action. But also this too, going back to Rusty's point, you better have a strong follow-up game as well. And your team needs to be trained on, okay, once you get that attention, right, and you've got them engaged, now they give you their information. Now it's on you to get that to convert to a new member, right? How strong is your follow-up game? Are you staying persistent? Are you asking the right questions? How strong is your sales cycle? Which all that's a completely different call and training all in itself. But this is just all strategy on how you capture that attention. You keep it long enough to get them to want to give you their information. They feel like you're relatable enough to hand over their name and phone number for you to contact them, so that way you can be a part of their journey, right? They love your content. They feel like they can connect with you. They feel like you're the right fit to add value to their family, to meet the need of what they're looking to solve. Once you get that information, now it's on you and your team to take the right steps in order to get that to become a new member, and then obviously taking them through the journey all the way to black belt, which is what we promise people and what we sell people on, what our mission is in the first place. So again, thank all of you guys for being a part of this and joining the conversation. What I want to do here is I want to do just one quick rapid fire, go through everybody. Any last minute tips, tricks, pieces of advice, information, anything you guys would want to share with our audience. Remember, you've got martial arts school owners, maybe a few instructors, all professionals that want to make more of an impact in their communities, what are some few more pieces of advice that you could give to those people as they're looking to increase their online brand and presence? And this time, because she hasn't gotten started yet, I'm gonna let Juliana start now, and then I'm gonna go to Rusty, and then I'm gonna go to Kenna. So Juliana, I'm gonna let you start first with your piece of advice.
Thanks. I think I'm going to tag on to what you and Rusty were kind of just mentioning on this last question is we are all professionals
Yeah.
and we are all extremely busy. Every moment counts. Attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. We are even in the era of seeing split videos where you can't hold somebody's attention to talk unless there's the video of some satisfying soap cutting happening at the same time. That is how short attention is nowadays. With that being said, and I think we are passionate, so we love to ramble and talk, and we could go on and on, but we all need to learn how to get more concise. If your posts will live, eat, breathe, and die by your hook. You need to understand what that is. You need to get them engaged within the first 3 to 5 seconds, or they are scrolling past your video. You need to keep it quick, short, concise. The rest can happen once you've already got their information, but being respectful of their time is going to be a huge one, and being respectful of your time. You don't have a ton of it to waste. Neither do they. If they are putting in the time and effort to give you all of their information and you have a solid lead, get on that call because they don't got time to waste, and neither do you. Are you going to sign up or what? You already gave me information, which means you're interested enough. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
But the way that you get them to give you that information is by showing them that you're respectful of their time, by getting them hooked within the first 3 to 5 seconds of your video, of your post. Not super lengthy captions. Leave that stuff for the introductory email that you're going to send them later. Something quick, get them a call to action and get them in the door. So,
love it. All right, Rusty, same thing. Who? Now I already forgot my order. Rusty, right? Rusty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rusty, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I would say run ads in general. If you've never tried it before, you're scared to try it. If you've tried it in the past, run ads. If you need help, let me know. We can help you out. Anytime you're doing ads, you want pattern interruption. That's what stops people from scrolling. You want scarcity urgency, like we were talking about earlier, try to get them to opt in now instead of thinking about it, doing it later. The call to action, like Juliana said, you literally have to tell people what to do next, because some people they're just not thinking. They're scrolling. Their mind's already numb from scrolling for 30 minutes. So call to action, what to do, what's in it for me. So you're putting the benefits, why should they do this? What's going to help them out? Utilize AI, and you can do AI with a bunch of things. You can use AI for follow-up. You can use AI to help you with copywriting. Go to ChatGPT, type in, I want to write a Facebook ad targeting children 5 to 15 years old for my Taekwondo school. I'm doing a free week pass. I've got 15 spots available. Write me some ad copy. You can even tweak it. It'll spit out some ad copy, say, hey, pull on the heartstrings of the parents a little bit more. It'll give you more emotional copy. You can say, give me long copy, give me shorter copy. It's crazy. It solves the blank page. You're not starting with the blank page. You got something there to get you started. You can make the tweaks. It's going to fit however you want it to fit. It's pretty cool. So utilize AI, run ads for sure. Don't be afraid to do that. Always test with your ads, test different pictures, different videos, just find out what's working. And like I said, if you need help, let me know. We can do that for you. Or if you don't have time to run ads, we can help you with that too.
There we go. I love it. All right, Kenna, what you got?
I think ultimately, there's all of these thoughts about being successful and what people want. But I think if you don't get the content done, you're not going to achieve these goals. And so you fall to the level of your systems. And so being able to have great systems from the beginning, I think is very, very important when it comes to such like I've worked in martial arts schools. They're busy. I feel like your day goes by so quickly, and just businesses in general, being able to communicate with your bosses or your co-coaches or instructors is super important. So make it as easy as possible to do these things. One of the resources I love and I use it for communicating with my clients is called Loomly. It's Loomly. It's content approval because maybe your boss wants to know something before you post it, or just visually, it has like a calendar. You can have your post laid out so you know what is going out when at what time. Scheduling, it helps with that. Make it as easy as possible for yourself. Content housing, maybe your boss wants your videos being held on a folder. Make sure you have a housing place for that. Love Google Drive, simple. And then as far as making sure you have systems, make sure you're scheduling a time for your market research, like Juliana has been saying. Make sure you're taking notes from that. Take those notes, go into your content planning, schedule a time for all of these things. And then once you're done with your content planning, schedule a specific day to do your content creation that you know, hey, this day I know I'm going to have maybe an hour, or I'm not going to have anything that is going to interrupt this. Some things happen, but being able to pivot from that is really important. So make it as easy as possible for yourself and stick to these systems, because that's ultimately going to help you achieve these member numbers or revenue goals and just impact on the community that you need to have. I think that it's like I like to call it the broccoli of your business. Like, it's not the fun things, but it's really crucial to success and being able to connect with these people and build communities, which is ultimately what helps you fulfill your mission in this world.
Man, so good, so good. I love it, guys. Hey, if you guys want more information on how to follow each of our three panelists here, you'll be able to see that down in the description, whether you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify, you'll be able to find it there in the description as well. One final thing with all three of you before I forget, what does RISE mean to you? Rusty.
I would say rise to the occasion, no matter what. And that could be different things. It could be in work life, spiritual life, in your relationship. Yeah, rise to the occasion no matter what. Like, even if you're not in the mood for whatever that thing is that needs to be done, like Jocko Willink, that Navy SEAL guy, he's like, embrace the suck. Like,
Yeah.
get it done no matter what. And I always think of embrace the suck. Like, I didn't quite get enough sleep last night, maybe because my toddler was keeping me up or something, but this has to be done, and it has to be done at my standards, which is very high. Like, no matter what, it's going to get done. So yeah, when I think of rise, it's do it no matter what, get it done.
I love it. I love it. Juliana, what does RISE mean to you?
Very similarly, rise to me means get up and do it. Actually get out of your head and physically do it. You said it at the beginning, Cam. You can have all of this information. You can have all of these coaches and mentors and books. You don't need another book. You need to get up and do it. You need to get up and start executing these things that you do, yet you know you need to do. It doesn't need to be perfect. Progress over perfection. Like you said, you learn so much along the way. And I would say, I trust you more if you tell me that you've had a ton of risks and they failed and now you know what to do than somebody that thinks that they're going to be successful right out the gate. So rise up and blank, do it.
I was so hoping you say it. I would bleep it out for you there, but all right, Kenna, what does RISE mean to you?
Whenever I hear rise, I think of it almost being a state of being, almost. It's a mindset, if you will. I think being able to go through small interactions in life and almost identifying as someone who rises above whatever it is, if it's a bad interaction or if, like Rusty said, your toddler kept you up or something. I think being able to identify as someone that rises above what is happening in this world, which ultimately just things go bad.
Yeah.
And so being able to be risen, or almost like have the state of rise,
Yeah.
you're going to ultimately do what you need to do despite the bumps in the road.
I love it. I love it. Well, Kenna, Juliana, Russi, thank you guys so much again for agreeing to do this. I know it adds a lot of value to people. And then all three of you are going to be joining us in Scottsdale as well. I'm so excited about that event. February 26th, 27th. You guys go to riseusa.com/elevate. You can get more information on your tickets there. You're going to be able to see these three amazing speakers at that event, as well as all the rest of our presenters and speakers as well. Let me tell you guys, this is an event that you do not want to miss, whatever it takes. Martial arts business owners, get yourself in the room, get your team in the room, because they need to be there hearing this alongside you and training it with you as well, because otherwise you have to go back and try to relay all this information. It's going to take months before you get the results you want, versus coming back as an army and as a team together ready to take action. So super excited.
And accountability.
And accountability, exactly. That's right. So make sure
They
you guys,
will keep you accountable.
they will. They will. That is very true, actually. So make sure you guys get your tickets. Make sure you're there in the room, soak in all the information and knowledge, but then go take action on it so that way you guys can be better for yourselves and for your community. Hey, thank you guys again. We'll talk soon.